Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Collector's Edition Superman. This is the Chris Reeve Superman based off the 1978 film, and this is the Platinum Chase variant, which is the Evil Superman, which was in Superman 3. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Jeffrey from Instagram for finding this and sending my way. It is much appreciated. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys. Ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Superman, McFarlane Platinum Edition, McFarlane Collector's Edition. Here he is in the package. We have a flight stand, collector's card, 2 heads, and 10 hands. One side of the package, McFarlane Collector's Edition. This is Superman from Superman the movie 1978, but like I said before, this is more so from Superman 3. It's the 25th figure in the Collector's Edition subline. Other side simply says Superman. At the bottom, well, they put their own barcode on top of the original barcode, so I don't think it's going to help you. And the new barcode is not even the same as the original one, so... On the back, here he is, posed up in front of the American flag. Truth, justice, and the American way. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And here's the Platinum Evil version of Superman next to the regular release. Alright. Now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. We have a flight stand, a collector's card, 8 alternate hands, totaling 10 interchangeable hands, and then 2 heads. Before I take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is the Christopher Reeve Superman from Superman 3. Not only that, but this is the Platinum Chase Evil version. In Superman 3, synthetic kryptonite had an effect on him and pretty much split him into 2 different personalities. Number 1 was the good, righteous Clark Kent. Number 2 was sort of the evil, rude Superman. He's in darker colors. His hair's a little bit more of a mess. He's got some scruff. He's not clean shaven. And I think it's a really cool idea for a Platinum Chase figure. It's not a necessary figure for your collection, but it's a really cool variant that is actually in the movie. I love getting the evil versions of these figures. We have Ultraman or Infected Superman, and now we have the evil Superman 3. So let's take a closer look. Now the original Christopher Reeve Superman had 2 different heads. One looked like this, and one had the clean spit curl and a pretty well-groomed, normal-looking head. This is perfect for the evil Superman. You can see he has sort of a mean expression on his face. The hair is a little bit more in disarray. He still has a curl, but it's quite a bit different than usual. And then he's got a little bit of scruff for the beard. Excellent idea for a variant. His suit is considerably darker, dark blue, almost a maroon color. You can see the traditional Superman logo on the chest. He's got double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, tall boots, cloth soft goods cape with a wire in it. It's, I don't know, sort of this washed out red on the inside and a really, really dark red on the outside. And yes, it has that Superman logo on the back. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, which I think looks great. It's a sort of washed up looking Superman, but I can totally see Christopher Reeve in the face sculpt here. I think it looks great. What do you guys think? I think it's a really cool idea. I'm happy they give us both heads with both versions of Superman. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Christopher Reeve Superman. He's in front of an American flag, truth, justice, and the American way. Now this is the regular version of the Christopher Reeve Superman, not the darker evil version. McFarlane Collector's Edition. On the backside there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Here's his flight stand. It comes in 2 separate pieces. When put together, it looks like this. At the bottom, we have a transparent base, and it says DC on it. It's got 1 peg for the peg holes on his feet, and has this post leading up to the top. The top can rotate, it's hinged, and it has a clamp to hold your figure. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 10 of them, 5 left hands and 5 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists, and here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of flight hands. I think every single Superman figure should come with a pair of fists, a pair of flight hands, and a flight stand. That should just be the golden standard for Superman figures. This guy has those, and so much more. Now the hands are completely flat. Flat hands, or maybe karate chopping hands. Here's a small complaint about this guy. The wrist peg here is painted blue. It absolutely should be flesh colored. This is sort of where the sleeve ends, and then we have this unnecessary extra blue piece leading to the hand. So if you want to get into a flight pose, do something kind of like this. Get the hands up in the air. Tilt his head as forward as you can. Same with the torso. And this is about as good as you're going to get him looking forward. It'd be nice if his head tilted a little bit higher up so he can kind of look straight ahead. Right now he's still sort of looking down. But it looks really cool nonetheless. And here's his third pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with a pretty large grip. Here's his fourth pair of hands. His right hand is a gripping hand that looks almost exactly the same as the last pair. And his left hand is a fairly open hand. And here's his last couple hands. His right hand is a pointing hand, index finger pointing, and his left hand is holding a crystal. This is the same crystal he threw into the snow that sort of started the Donnerverse Fortress of Solitude. This hand is pointing, and this hand has a pretty cool green crystal, which is not kryptonite, but definitely kind of gives me that vibe. Now let's look at his heads. He has two of them, and these are the same two heads that came with the regular version of the Christopher Reeve Superman, but they're painted a little bit differently. The one on the left, hair a little bit unkept, it's got the scruff, that's the evil Superman head, and the one on the right has the heat vision eyes. Now it's the same one that came with the regular Christopher Reeve Superman, but that one didn't have the red eyes. So in theory, you could use the red-eyed one for the regular Christopher Reeve Superman, have him use his heat vision. You could mix and match with the two figures. Pretty cool. Here's a look at his first head. This is the evil Superman head. It just looks really good. It looks spot on, like the film. The hair kind of falling down. The expression with the mouth. The little bit of scruff. Hell, I think this head might actually look more accurate to the Christopher Reeve than the other one. They're both good heads, but this one just looked great for the evil Superman. And here's his second head. This is a regular looking Superman head, has the clean, well-groomed hair, the spit curl, but he has totally red eyes. He's using his heat vision, which is fairly appropriate for the evil version, but I really want to see what it looks like on the regular version as well. Here it is on the regular version of Christopher Reeve Superman. A little bit of scruff kind of throws it off, and the eyes, I don't know, just looks kind of evil, and I guess that's the whole point. So I'd say it doesn't really match this one very much. But if you want to use heat vision, this is probably the right head to use. Of course, that doesn't really explain the scruff. Now let's talk about his cape for a second. His cape is cloth soft goods with a bendy wire on either side. The cape can stretch out about that far. Like I said, it has a bendy wire, so we can take pretty much any pose you want. If you want it sort of flowing in the wind, I like to do something, I don't know, sort of like this. And you kind of have to go into the side. Take the other part of the cape, just sort of bend it inward a little bit, and then bam, you got sort of a quick version of the cape sort of flowing in the wind next to him. I can make it look a little better, but that's just a sort of quick version right there. Now to check out the differences and similarities between this evil Platinum Superman and the original version, and they are 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, different paint job. So let's take a look. Start with their heads here. Well, the heads are a different sculpt, but both versions came with both heads, just painted a little bit differently. As you can see the difference there, he's got clean, well-groomed head, he's got sort of scruffy. As we go further down, like I said, it's 100% the same figure, but the blue is a lot darker here. The red's a lot darker here. The yellow, pretty similar. Everything else is the same except for the cape. The cape is a much darker red color, almost looks black, giving us 3 different figures of Christopher Reeve Superman. 3 of which I thought used the exact same body, but there are some serious differences with the Page Puncher comic version. It uses a weird hybrid between the Christopher Reeve Superman and the Crisis on Infinite Earth Superman. But we'll check that out in more depth when I get to the page puncher video. Now that I've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.4, maybe even 7.5 inches tall, which can translate to just under 19 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, you can rotate side to side. He can look up, not that much, down a pretty good amount. It would really help him with the flight pose if his head could look up a little bit more. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion, and more importantly, cover the giant gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged as well. He's got a ball joint in his torso. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in the torso area. Legs, completely does a splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation, it's minimal but there. Legs go forward all the way. Back not much. Double jointed knees. And his ankle, forward and back. Rotate. Tilt, rock, and of course, toe articulation. Here's a look at Superman in a hero pose in front of the American flag. Truth, justice, and the American way. And then here's Superman flying above the skies of Metropolis. Here's a look at the evil Superman fighting the regular version. Which personality is going to win? The good or the bad? Now let's check them out next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other Superman figures. Here are all three versions of McFarlane's Christopher Reeve Superman. The movie version, the evil movie version, and the comic page puncher version. So this is not the first evil Superman that McFarlane has made. The first one they made was the infected Superman. The Batman Who Laughs infected him, although turned out it was all a ploy to trick the Batman Who Laughs. Then they made a couple of versions of Ultraman, which is the evil Superman from a different multiverse, part of the crime syndicate, the evil Justice League. They also made the angry Hush Superman. This is Superman when he was under control by Poison Ivy. Here he is, next to the Blackest Night Superman. This is basically an evil zombie Superman. And here he is, next to the DC versus Vampires, Vampire Superman. And here he is with the Injustice 2 Superman. This Superman pretty much rules the world. He didn't intend to be evil, but his actions kind of led him on that path. Next, here he is, next to the Batman Beyond Justice Lord Superman. Here are all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse evil versions of Superman, at least that I can think of. I count a total of 8 of them. And I thought about putting Red Sun Superman in there, but I'd say his intentions are much more good. Although, as a whole, it's kind of similar to the Injustice 2 Superman. Hell, Dark Knight Returns Superman can also go there. But once again, he was a pawn of the government. I don't really think he was evil. Now let's check him out with some other McFarlane Superman figures. Here he is, next to their first Superman figure. This is the Action Comics number 1000 Superman, and it's still arguably their best Superman yet. And here he is, next to the Hush Superman, which is my second favorite Superman McFarlane has released. Then, next to the Page Puncher Superman. These three are probably the best and most normal standard Superman figures McFarlane has done. And now, next to the big, giant, armored Page Puncher Superman. Here are all the most recent Superman figures McFarlane has released. They just keep cranking them out, don't they? And then here's a look at the majority of all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figures. And they say the line is just Batman. Here's Superman, next to the comic Supergirl. The one on the left kind of reminds me of Supergirl from the film. And just like Superman, she had a Platinum Chase variant with a much darker color scheme. Imagine this Supergirl getting to split into two personalities. One good, one evil. Somebody earlier said they thought the darker color scheme on the Chris Reeve Superman would look better with the Michael Keaton Batman. And I can kind of see their point. What do you guys think? Personally, I like the traditional World's Finest of these two. bright, hopeful colors of Superman, dark, depressing Batman. But I'm not gonna lie, these two look pretty good together as well. And since this Cyborg Superman is a Platinum Chase variant, I wanted to take a look at all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants out there. Here are all the sort of older Platinum Chase variants. Gold, bronze, unpainted, and then some newer versions. And here's a look at all the more modern McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants. I believe all of these came out in the past calendar year. And even though I have almost a complete collection, there's a few I'm missing. I'm still on the hunt for 1 Platinum Collector's Edition Mr. Terrific, 2 Platinum Justice League Task Force Batman figures, 1 Platinum Page Puncher Shazam, and 2 Platinum Page Puncher Animated DC Direct Red Hood figures. I believe that's all I'm on the hunt for that's out right now. I believe Mr. Terrific is showing up at Best Buy, GameStop, and Walmarts across the country. Justice League Task Force Batman at Walmarts, and then the new Page Puncher, Red Hood, and Shazam figures at both Walmart and Target, and GameStop for that matter. So here's the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 1. Every single Collector's Edition figure has a Platinum Chase variant. Here are both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the first appearance Superman, the Abyss, and Alan Scott Green Lantern. And here's the second wave of Collector's Edition figures, both regular and Platinum versions of Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. Then, the third wave of Collector's Edition figures. We have the Death and Return of Superman, Captain Carrot, Batman as Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. Here's the fourth wave. This wave consisted of Penguin, Starfire, and Captain Boomerang. And here's the fifth wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Sergeant Rock, Connor Kent Superboy, and Manga Batman. Here's the sixth wave of Collector's Edition figures, both versions of the Red Hood, Clock King and Dr. Time, Ragman, and Agent Liberty. And finally, here's the seventh wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Dark Knight Returns Batman, Huntress, and some Green Lantern Corps members. We have Tomar Ray, Evan Sewer, Arcus Chumuk, and the Green Man. And here's the eighth wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Lightning Lad, Simon Paz Green Lantern, Geoforce, Grid, Christopher Reeve Superman, and then the regular version of Mr. Terrific. I currently have 11 of the 12 figures in this wave. I still need the Platinum Mr. Terrific. Very solid wave, a lot of figures. The next wave of Collector's Edition figures consists of Power Girl, Captain Cold, and Guy Gardner Green Lantern. Can't wait to see the Platinums of those. Now let's check them out. Next is some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is. Next is the most recent Page Puncher wave. We have the comic Crispy Superman, comic Shazam, and the DC Direct Animated Red Hood. What a bizarre wave of figures. Just because the Red Hood stands out like a sore thumb. And here he is, next to the King Kong vs. Batman 3-pack. Here's Superman, next most recent Batman wave. Both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Noel Batman and Silver Age Batman, the Platinum Batman vs. Spawn Batman, and all three versions of the Neo-Gothic Batman Beyond Batman. Then, next to a couple of recent McFarlane Toy Store exclusives, we have the Brayfogle Batman and the black and white accent Blue Beetle. And now, with the Justice League Task Force wave, collective build Darkseid. Each of these four figures has a Platinum Chase variant. I currently have the Flash, Superman, and Aquaman. I'm on the hunt for Batman. I actually want to get two of the Batman figures, but if I could just get one of them, I could at least build Darkseid. Here's the Superman, next to the Amazon exclusive Batman that came with the Batglider, and the GameStop exclusive Frostbite Nightwing. Then, next to the Amazon exclusive Court of Owls 3-pack. And finally, with a couple of recent Mega figures, the Planet Ron Red Swamp Thing, and the Zack Snyder's Justice League Artwork Darkseid. This is the one that came with the throne. Now let's check them out. Next is some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller, and I'm going to include as many Superman figures as I can during these comparisons. since we already checked him out next to a bunch of different McFarlane Superman figures, here he is next to some more McFarlane toys. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale, and now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys, here's Superman next to a candle lighter, and here he is with some DC Direct and NECA Superman figures, then with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel Superman figures, next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, I really like this evil Superman figure. I don't like him as much as the regular Christopher Reeve Superman, but it's such a cool variant. It's kind of an obscure thing from the Donnerverse, but kind of not, and it's just the perfect idea for a Platinum Chase variant. When they announced they were doing the Christopher Reeve Superman Collector's Edition figure, we all knew it would have a Platinum, but they kept it secret for so long. It only got revealed, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and I was hoping it was going to be the evil version of Superman, and they did not disappoint. His accessories, well, plenty of heads and hands, but it would be nice to have some actual accessories of this guy. First thing that comes to mind is that kryptonite necklace from the end of the first film. But this guy's actually from the third film, so I don't know, maybe a piece of junkyard equipment to hit Clark Kent with. His articulation is fantastic. The new body is good. Cape is good. Sculpt paint job, it is all there. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think I give the regular Christopher Reeve an 8.5, and that seems about fitting for this guy as well. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say to the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.